Hey, it's Roy Richardson, your friend of the neighborhood tech Troublemaker, and tonight we're going to talk about Elgato Stream Deck. Why? Because how can you even do anything in life now with an Elgato Stream Deck? You can use it with so many applications. I use it with Ecamm Live, but you can use it with OBS, you can use it with Final Cut Pro, you can use it with DaVinci Resolve, you can use it with Microsoft Teams, you can use it with Zoom. I could go on for a couple hours about all the different programs you can use it with, but I'm no expert, but I know somebody it is. And it's Alex from Take One Tech. How are you tonight, sir?
Hey, thanks so much for having me. It's great to be here.
You just came out just this week with an updated Stream Deck Masterclass. You had one previously, I think, and you've just updated it. And there are just so many different Stream Decks. And I thought, man, it'd be great to have you on and just do a conversation about Stream Deck and just to kind of talk about your workflow and then take questions from the community, just to find out different things. And I seem to be nervous, and so I'm going to slow down now. Bumblebee tuna. Okay, I'm better now. Thank you. Just how long have you been live streaming? How long have you been going live doing content creation?
I guess it's just over 2 years. So it was May 2021 was when I first started. And that was why I got the Stream Deck. It was obviously for controlling Ecamm Live, which is what I use for streaming too. And all my videos on my channel are just all made in one take with no edits. So I wanted a way to control Ecamm whilst I was making those to enable that process, really. So it's been 2 years, and I never realized when I bought the Stream Deck just what an integral part of my life this device would become, just in terms of using it for all different aspects. I'm sure we'll dig into some, but for productivity and everything, it's been quite a revelation.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people may not know this, but there are like 5,000 different. No, I'm sorry, it's not quite that many, but there are a bunch of Stream Decks. So let's go take a look at the main one. So the Stream Deck pedal. So do you use a Stream Deck pedal?
I do, yeah. I've got my setup is two Stream Deck XLs, two pedals, and a Stream Deck Plus. So I love the pedal. I was using pedals actually before the pedal came out, which was just a generic USB one, and then I was using Keyboard Maestro, which is a Mac automation software to sort of program the pedals to do different things. But no, one under each foot.
All right. And then this one seems a complete waste of time to me. But anyway, this is a Stream Deck Mini.
I always used to think that as well. But my friend Michelle Lawrence, LBC Branding, she uses one of these. But what she does is she actually holds it in her hand. So she's got the other Stream Decks as well. But this is kind of like the one in her hand with some like go-to scenes and things like that she always wants. And so when she's like doing her live streams and presentations, she's actually literally holding this and she knows where the buttons are. So it's got its place as well.
Yeah, I could see like next scene or something like that. That would be neat. Mm-hmm. So somebody says there's an echo in my voice. Hopefully I can fix that. Oh no. Anyway, all right. And then this is they came out with this last year, the Stream Deck MK2, which I had the original 15 button before where you could change out the kind of the plastic cover on it. And I kept having gear acquisition syndrome because I kept having to go through so many pages in order to get my scenes going. And so that was that made me crazy. So finally, like Christmas, said, the heck with it. Somebody give me some gift cards for Amazon. I'm getting the XL. So I still like this one now that I use this on my Windows PC for Teams. Mm-hmm. And then this is the one that I'm in love with, the Stream Deck XL. Did I see you have two of these on your desk?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One on each hand, and then the Stream Deck Plus controls those two. But the thing about the 15 key versus the 32, I think the reason why so many people buy the 15 key is because when they first get it, or when they first see it, they think, what do I need to do? I need to switch maybe 4 or 5 scenes, let's say for Ecamm, for example. I need a record button, a stop button, maybe one to control the chat. I'll probably be good with 15 keys. But then what happens is you get it and you realize there is so much more that I could be doing with this. And so then it's kind of like, I should have got the 32. So,
That was where I was at. So I literally I went with the 15, I literally went through 5 screens of pages. Mm-hmm. And then I went to the 32 and strangely I can get it all done on one screen.
Right.
I don't know how that is. I guess because I don't have all the page buttons that go between pages. And then this is the latest, the Stream Deck Plus. So what, do you have one of these? And what, I think you did, oh yeah, you do. You did a video about it. What is your thoughts on this one?
Yeah. So this one is great because of the dials you can use to adjust things like, for example, still with Ecamm, adjusting all the different volume levels in Ecamm for system audio, mic, and all of that. You can also assign all of your interview guests as well to the dials. And the dials actually, although there's 4 dials, when you press the dial in, you can kind of cycle between different things. So I have all of my system audio, mic, and things like that on one dial, and then my potentially 10 guest slots are all on a second dial, so that enables me to sort of just scroll through them and adjust individual levels. And then, other things like Photoshop brush size and things where you might want like rotary action to control things. Yeah. But what I actually use the buttons for on the top is in Stream Deck you can switch profiles. So if you when you run out of buttons on one page, you can either create multiple pages, or you can also create different profiles for different sort of use cases. So the Stream Deck Plus kind of sits in the middle of the other two, and pressing the buttons on that one basically changes what is being displayed on the other two. So that's kind of how I control what's going on the other two.
Yeah, that definitely feels like Stream Deck madness there, but that's really cool. How do you do that? Yeah. All right. I'm gonna do a quick audio check since I'm being told by my my team that I have an echo. So let's see. Nope. All right. I don't see anything obvious. So we're gonna keep rolling a little bit longer and see what happens. All right. So going back. Oh, stay away. All right. We'll come back to this. All right. So let's go check out and see who all we got out there in the chat tonight. So it's Mr. Moderator himself. Looking forward to this. How you doing tonight, Paul? Mr. Paul Duncan. Yep. Miami God, Paul. See you all in a bit. I learn loving streaming with John. Like, hey, John, how you doing out there tonight? And so I'm so excited because I've not been fully utilizing my Stream Deck XL. Yes, you got to use it all the way. There's Dagan out there. How you doing, sir? Everybody's saying hi, Dagan. I got the XL also. Yes, I just can't make it without the XL. The 15 button just wasn't enough. I even went crazy and I bought a Loop Deck S from a Kickstarter, and I have it. And I just don't like it as well. It's great because it gave me what the Stream Deck Plus has now, where I had knobs and I could turn down the sound. But it went pretty well. John says, I am obsessed with my Stream Deck. I use it in so many different programs now because I'll use it in Final Cut Pro to help me do cuts and do marks and that type of thing. Definitely a cool feature if you're an Ecamm user is to be able to do marks in the video. So like, oh, that was a really good moment. Let me do a mark. So when I go back to the edit room, I'm able to find it easy. And John's saying hi to everybody. Yeah, Stream Deck Mini, 6 buttons to 32 buttons. Yeah, it's craziness. I started with the Stream Deck, but loved it so much I upgraded to the XL. Yeah, I wish I had started with the XL. All right, let's see. I know we'll have tons of questions, so to cue them faster, please put a cue before each question. I learned this from Paul. Hey, Mommy. Mr. Potter, is Alec? Yep. Everybody saying hi to Alec. Yeah. Pepper Tree Mills saying hi. So anyway, just saying hi to everybody. Definitely, if you have any questions here, just a little bit, be sure to follow with the Q colon so we can find it in the mix. In the train, how you doing out there tonight? Good to see you out there. Alec has slapback. Oh, echoes on Alec's side? I thought it was on my side. I figured it was on mine. So, that's a serious echo. Who's the winner? Okay, so we're getting double audio from you, they say. Interesting. Alec, do you hear anything on your side? I don't know. I don't see anything.
I'm hearing it all right. So when they say double audio from my side, do they mean they're hearing me twice?
That's what they're saying. They're saying they're hearing you twice. I wonder if there's something I'm doing that I don't know that I'm doing. I don't think so. Interesting. All right, we'll see what happens. Roy, fix the audio. Hey, you guys are so mean to me. Anyway, no. All right. See, I got a Rode Streamer X to try to fix my audio problems, so it's just ironic. It says once it gets to the comments, just hang tight. Okay. Echo from Alec's mic only. Why is that? I don't understand. Anyway, how about now, guys? Everybody's still here? We're going to move on because we got stuff to do, man. All right. I'm an audio freak. I want everything to be perfect. I want life to be great for people. And that's a little earlier than I want to be. This is when things crash and burn. I'm having a good time here. There we go. All right. So what kind is so first of all, you mentioned that you use the Stream Deck Plus to change out the profiles for the other two Stream Decks. Mm-hmm. When you're on a live stream, what's your process for setting up scenes? You're obviously an Ecamm user like a lot of us here on this group. And so just what's your process whenever you're setting up? And you mentioned about doing your video and you wanted to minimize your edits. What's your work process there for optimizing using the Stream Deck?
So I don't really change my my Stream Deck setup from like one live stream to the next or from one video to the next. I've basically just got consistent layout all the time, so I know exactly where the different scenes are. And so there's not much sort of setup of the Stream Deck from that point of view. But I do just have a consistent set of scenes that I sort of flick between using the buttons on the Stream Deck, and then obviously the record and buttons and things like that, and any new overlays that need to come up. That might be something that changes from one live stream or one video to the next if there's a particular graphic that needs to come up on screen that I want to assign to a button. But it's all about, for me, the thing that really adds the power to this is when you've got that muscle memory, you know exactly where things are going to be. And incidentally, adding the second Stream Deck XL came when I basically did run out of buttons on the first Stream Deck that I was going to be using in any sort of live environment, as it were. So be that in a live stream, be it in a recorded video. But I also use Ecamm and the Stream Deck to do virtual presentations and meeting presentations and things like that, and webinars. So whenever it is that I want to be able to have full control of everything, then that's when I added in the extra 32 key, because I never wanted to be in a situation where I've got to think about what page I'm on the Stream Deck. So that was basically when I filled up what I needed in a live situation. That's when I added in the second Stream Deck XL.
Okay.
And I'm from a recording point of view. I just do all of my videos as if they are live streams, effectively, just live to tape, I guess.
Yeah. Now, I think I read somewhere you are an aeronautics engineer by trade.
That's my background. I've done that for years, actually. So
I was going to say, how does that lead into content creation and live streaming? That's what I was trying to figure out.
Okay, so if you want to take it from there to here, it's a long story, because I went through several different evolutions since then. Most recently, I live in Thailand. I've been here for 17 years, and the sort of first, I guess, decade or just over a decade of that was actually architectural design and construction. But that's another whole story. But the reason I got into Ecamm, though, and the reason why I started doing these like one-take videos, is because I was making some course content for another business that I was running. And so I wanted to make the course content, but I was my own worst enemy when it came to editing, because I would always take multiple different takes, and I just wanted a way to just get the information out, just as if I was sitting, talking to a friend, a colleague, or whoever it was. So that's why I wanted to explore this whole idea of one-take videos. And so the YouTube channel was kind of really a way to test that all out, to test that process of just creating videos in one take, to then go on and make the course content. And then it's only over how the channel has evolved that then this has also then become a whole business in its own right. That's sort of how I came to this point. I missed out a few steps along the way, but that's why I started the channel.
Oops. That's definitely interesting. So, and then you were talking about, so whenever you're trying to do kind of a one-take video, let me guess, you probably mix in buttons with B-roll, and you have scenes you've already set up with titles and that type of thing, and very much trying to minimize the edit process so that you just kind of play it, each scene. Do you script yourself, or do you use a teleprompter and you kind of tie that together, or you just kind of impromptu?
It's all impromptu. I don't really do any. I don't do any scripting, and the B-roll thing is only actually something I've done relatively recently, because all of my videos on my channel tend to be tech tutorials. So it's just me to camera, but then a scene set up with a screen share and things like that. More recently, when I've been covering more product stuff, like all the new road announcements, then I've just got a series of scenes with basically set up for a particular B-roll video that then auto advances back to the main scene of me, kind of a bit like this, I guess. And so then what I do is I just literally have to go through Ecamm, get all the different bits of B-roll that I want to add in, and I just drop them into the scene. But then Stream Deck auto updates with all of the the little thumbnails you get on the Stream Deck when you are linking when you are using a scene in Ecamm as the you're triggering it. So then I kind of just see what all of the different B-roll scenes are anyway. So that's all on the second Stream Deck XL is any B-roll that I'm doing during the live stream or video.
Very cool. So I want to kind of let everybody see kind of behind the scenes. So here is, so if you have a Stream Deck, and I have the Stream Deck XL, and I did have the 15 and the XL at one time, but it just became madness trying to keep things, because it would switch up on me. We were talking about this before the show, how sometimes the profile issue was just doing craziness. But anyway, the really cool thing about the Stream Deck is that you can do so many amazing things. And it's here, I've got it set for doing Ecamm Live. But you'll see here, there's Twitch Studio. So if you were a Twitch, do live streaming on Twitch, you could use it here. And these are just things that came right out of the box. YouTube, chat messages, and viewers. So if you were streaming directly into YouTube as opposed to using something like this. And then there's 10,000 things you can do with Ecamm that are all part of this. But yeah, it's definitely a crazy world here. So and suddenly everything goes insane. All right, so let me show you then. And then if you're looking for other things to add for overlays, and so what programs all do you use that you have that you use your Stream Deck with?
I use it really kind of for every aspect of my working life now. I mean, I bought it, as I say, for Ecamm and just for that, but it has become for me like the ultimate irreplaceable productivity tool. So I use lots of the different plugins, but it's actually more about linking it into automation for everything else that I'm doing on my computer, regardless of whether there's a specific plugin for it. So I use an application called Keyboard Maestro, which is a Mac automation software. So I use that really heavily. But one of the things about Stream Deck is you can use it to kind of set up your whole workflows. And one of the things that takes a lot of time when you're getting into doing anything, any aspect of your day job or whatever it is this thing of getting everything all set up and getting everything on the screen exactly where you need it to be able to just get into your work. And some people have a different sort of, let me say, haphazard approach to, placing things on the screen. It's not always in exactly the same place every time. And that whole thing of not being really structured and organized with even your desktop layout on your computer can just add friction and sort of slow you down in everything that you are doing. If it isn't sort of muscle memory as to, where the browser window is, where, the different application windows are or whatever, then that can actually really slow you down. So there's another application called Moom, which is for window management on the Mac. And so I use that whereby I save different snapshots of the locations of all the different apps on my screen. So when I come to do a particular task, whatever it is, I can press one button on Stream Deck, and with the multi-action that you have in Stream Deck, you can add in lots of different things into a single button. And so what that will do is it will trigger a series of things, including a Keyboard Maestro macro, but it's basically just opening up all the different apps for that particular thing, and it's putting them all in exactly the right place on my screen that I'm used to them being for that particular task. And so with the touch of the button, I can just get into a particular work mode. And then I've got another one to get rid of everything and close it all down. But I find that is where it can add value and sort of efficiency, is just reducing the friction to me actually getting to do the thing I want to do. And that comes down to a personal productivity, personal procrastination, and things like that with me as well. I'm always trying to combat the little demons in my head that are stopping me from working efficiently. And if I feel like something's too much of a hassle to get it all set up, it's just another potential point where I might think, I haven't got time to do that now. Whereas if I know that I can just press a button to get into that work frame of mind, then it sort of helps the process along for me.
Going back here, so Discord. So I didn't even realize I had a Discord plugin. So you can go to the store, and the way you get to that inside here if mouse will work. Suddenly things are acting crazy. So if I go up to the top here, hang on, I'm having a tech night. We're just gonna live it up here, and just go ahead and have tech night. Let everything just break. It'll be fine.
Every day's a tech night. It never runs entirely smoothly. I always find that the time that something's going to go wrong is the time that I'm actually demonstrating the very thing that goes wrong.
Yeah.
So, it's always the way.
You can go up here and then choose store, and it will literally show you like so many things. And I see there's a Discord. I know that there is Final Cut Pro. I recently rebuilt my Mac, so I haven't added my Final Cut Pro. Add the Final Cut Pro back in yet, but there's so many things in the plugins for some of the apps. This is what I use a lot of these. So if you want Twitch, here's Discord. We'll go ahead and do an install of Discord right quick. The other thing that's kind of cool, and so you can go and find all kind of things. I use it sometimes, and I'll throw in all kind of Mac shortcuts for myself if I'm moving back around lots of different things. It's just lots of cool stuff. The music, most people don't realize this. There is all these sounds built into the Stream Deck that you can use for, they're free if you own a Stream Deck, so you can use them all you want. They're royalty free because they come with the Stream Deck. And so you can go download these here and program them to different buttons and just find all kind of cool stuff here and use that. I've used some of that. And then definitely if you want to install different icons, so maybe you want to put different things, just what's kind of, yours are probably really tricked out on it. Do you go through and you make your own icons for that?
I certainly do, yes. And just incidentally, the chat saying that there's slapback, and I wonder if it's when we're in a screen share. Maybe that Ecamm's sharing your system audio, and then maybe this is the StreamYard is bringing in my system audio. That might be where the slapback's occurring.
I've figured out the source, but at this present time, I'll have to troubleshoot offline. It appears that for some strange reason, if I am unmuted in the StreamYard main inside Ecamm, if I mute the main, then the echo is gone while you're talking. And so it's a routing issue. So I've got to figure out where the route bug is. And this isn't the time to try to do that. It'll just turn into a different show.
Sure. Yeah. I just wondered if it was the screen share thing. But no problem. So just to answer the question, though, about the icons, I do take the time to make my own icons. And I actually use Keynote. It's really easy to make just a square slide in Keynote. Keynote's something I'm really familiar with. I do have the whole Adobe suite, but I just find for the simple kind of pictogram style icons that I use, Keynote's really easy to do that. But there is a real point to this as well, though. It's not just about making it look pretty. If you think about how much time and effort and money companies spend designing user interfaces for websites, for applications, for everything, really, it's an important thing, isn't it? If user interface design technicians or companies designers just put a series of random buttons all over the app so it didn't look all consistent, then you would get a lot of complaints from users. And really, when we get our Stream Deck, we've got essentially a completely blank canvas, and we are the architects of our own user interface for our Stream Decks. And so I think it's really important actually to have a well-designed set of icons, whether you buy them. There's a great site called Sideshow FX that has all of the icons for all of the Adobe Creative Suite, a lot of the things like Affinity Designer and so on. So Sideshow FX has got some really great selections of icons. I've got a few on my store as well, but they're by no means as extensive as Sideshow FX. So they're a great source for that. But as I say, I tend to just design my own for exactly what I'm doing. And I don't tend to have text on them as well. Some people have really busy icons with lots of text. I find that, if you think to what does a button look like in an application, it's usually really quite a simple pictogram that they have to describe what the button does. And so I try to always fall back to that approach myself. And then it not only looks nice and feels nice to use, but it's actually more of a usability thing for me. That's my feeling on that one.
Yeah, I am horrible, and I just let the video show up in the buttons, and I do put verbiage at the bottom so that I can remember the scenes. And so, you're right. So I will do like special icons for my shout outs. So I have special scenes. I use my outro and my subscribe button. So I will use icons for that. But other than that, I'm lazy and I just go with it. But your point is very valid. And and definitely will make my productivity, a lot less maddening. So here's here's my Stream Deck, and so if you go look, I don't know how well it's gonna work. Let's see. Anyway, so I'm literally using the video image that gets put in as I use the buttons, and that usually helps me fine. And I usually test out all the scenes ahead of time before I go live, and that's usually what I do. But you're right; it would definitely be much prettier if I did better.
That one example, though, that you've given is probably the exception to everything I just said, because Ecamm does give you a really good preview of the actual scene. So there, that's kind of great. You can see exactly what the scene is.
Yeah, as long as you've used it once, that helps, and it literally remembers like the last time you used it. So from the previous live stream, it's still there. And so if you reuse a button for a specific purpose, then that works really well. So let's see. Hang on. Oops. All right, we do have some questions out here. I definitely want to get to them. Let's go Q&A. All right, let's see. Every time I update my Stream Deck, all my previous settings get lost, and I have to set them up again. What am I doing wrong?
I've not had anything like that, actually. I don't know. When you do a software update in Stream Deck, it shouldn't lose anything that you've set up in it. So I'm not quite sure why that would be. That does sort of highlight the point of always do keep a backup. I'm sure I'm sure you do, but yeah, in the preferences there's an option to backup. Just always having a regular backup at certain intervals if you're going through an update in your Stream Deck to make sure you've got that. That would be one thing to say there. But I'm not really sure why that would be. It certainly isn't normal behavior. And I haven't really got an answer for that one. There is one thing that might be potentially an issue, is that when you go into the preferences, there is the software update is in the first page under the general tab. When you go into the next, to the devices tab, and then just double check the firmware version for the particular device, and that's each and every device if you've got multiple ones attached. But it's funny, it doesn't always come up at the same time as the update. It's kind of like the software update triggers the firmware update. I tend to be a issue.
We're having some digitizing for some reason there, Alec. I don't know what's causing it on your audio. We're just having a bad audio night, aren't we? All right, so let's go to your point that you were talking about. Let's go take a look at that.
I think I've lost your audio at the moment, Roy. Is it muted in this scene?
Oh, try it again. Sorry. No, I muted it to kind of fight the battles. Anyway, so right here under Preferences, Devices, this is where you'll find the firmware update. And there is a button right there. We don't want to do it right now, but it'll go off and check the update. And then, Lala, you were talking about, I was going to say, I would recommend before you do an update, if you're having this problem consistently, to definitely either export out your profile before you start or have it create a backup. And then after you do the update, you can restore from backup that profile. So that would be, that's what Alec was talking about, is definitely make a backup ahead of time. And I have a special folder where I back up all my Ecamm stuff and my Stream Deck stuff, and then I have it back up to my Google Drive and also to an external drive because I'm extra paranoid. So that's the kind of stuff I do. So that might be something to try, Lala, to see if that will allow you to get back your profiles after the update happens. So just a safety measure you could try to see if that makes a difference. So just wanted to point that out. And then you got the big check for updates button as you were mentioning. So definitely there. So cool. Let's see. Ta-da. Okay. Yep. Cool. All right. Let's see. Got to catch up on a few. Let's get rid of. There we go. Ta-da. Catch up on a few comments here.
think you're still muted in this scene.
That's fun. Okay, thanks. Weird. I didn't. Now that's a new feature because I usually don't have that saved in a scene. So that's a new feature we're getting tonight. Good times. Okay. Yep. Just looking. So hopefully, wow, this is a crazy night. I don't know why everything's going so loopy like it is. So we'll see. All right.
No problem.
Back to. Okay. So now, in your course that I know now that you have a new master class for the Stream Deck, what kind of topics does the course cover?
It's really intended to give people an overall grounding in Stream Deck. So to begin with, so first of all, it's talking about like the way to organize your Stream Deck using profiles and how to think about it. And we talked about a couple of things here, like user interface design and designing your own icons. So those two things are really core components that are about the organization and the personalization that all make it a really usable device that you can fit into your workflow rather than struggling to figure out where different buttons are, and so they don't just become that muscle memory thing that I keep talking about. So that's the like one aspect to it, and then obviously it is for a complete beginner as well. So it does talk about just how to use it, how to use plugins and actions, and give some grounding into the basics of that as well. But then it moves on to really three core areas. So the first one is using it for productivity, which I've mentioned is kind of like the way that I primarily use this now. It's I'm using it all day, every day. And so talking about how you can use it to become much more efficient in everything that you do, not just maybe the reason that you bought the Stream Deck in the first place. The second area is about live streaming and live video production. Obviously, that's its intended purpose. So there's a whole section that just covers specifically that and how I use it. Some of my workflows with Ecamm Live, for example. And then the final major section of it is to do with online meetings and presentations. And that kind of builds really on the live video production, I guess, because, it's when we can use Ecamm Live to really level up our online meetings in Zoom and Teams and so on, then that's sort of almost hand in hand with that. But there is another whole aspect to this. And I find that the Ecamm Live virtual camera into virtual meetings on Teams and Zoom and so on, or maybe just delivering webinars or any other online platform, it really can enhance them. But I think some people are a bit daunted about the idea of having three separate apps that they're running all at the same time, like their meeting platform, like Ecamm, like Keynote and PowerPoint, and merging it all together into this one like really slick production that is then being fed into their meeting platform. And the daunting aspect to it is the fact that you have got multiple different things at play or in play that you've got to control. And I actually find that the Stream Deck really removes that potential issue because it actually unifies everything. So you basically have a mission control, which is your Stream Deck, and that is controlling Zoom, but it's also controlling your Keynote or PowerPoint or whatever, and then it's also controlling your Ecamm as well. And it really makes for a completely slick experience for your viewers in your or meeting participants in your meeting, just in the same way that it can do for a live stream as well. You can have all of that going into Zoom and Teams. So I focus on that aspect of it as well. Obviously, there are hundreds of plugins, thousands and thousands of actions. So I don't cover all of those, but it hopefully gives a framework for how to use the Stream Deck in general for all of those things. So that's kind of the idea of the course.
Yeah, that's some great stuff. Yeah, and I love this. I really don't know how anybody can do a live stream without the Stream Deck anymore. I did it for a while, that whole switching between scenes and Ecamm, and luckily that's really easy, and I could use keys and arrow down. And if I was really efficient and put my scenes in order, which I don't anymore, I just do controlled chaos now, because I'm like all over the place, just kind of thinking through, okay, I need a scene for this, I need a scene for this, I need a scene for this, and I could go and drag them around and put them in the exact order, but then I just put them on the Stream Deck and go through that whole process. And so, even some people say, well, can I use it with StreamYard? Yes, you can. Can I use it with, Restream? Yes, you can. Can I use it with Melon? And yes, you can. I know they just got bought out, so waiting to see what happens with that. But it's just any kind of platform. And then, I mentioned earlier about using it with Final Cut Pro, then I can use it to make marks on my scenes and everything, so I can go back and cut out things as I'm going, and that's really helpful for that. What's your video editing platform?
I don't edit. It's all just live in Ecamm.
Literally just make it live every time. I am jealous.
Yeah, No post-production at all. So I just hit record. And it's not live, as in not live to the platform, but it's recorded live in one take with no edits. That's the whole point of it. If you want to do that sort of thing, but maybe like, a 30-minute video, you might need to refer to notes or something like that. They do have a pause button in Ecamm. So it is possible, if you want to refer to notes, to record and then hit the pause, glance away, glance back, and then continue like that. That's one option that means that then you get a seamless video, but without the edits. I know that works for some people. I still just do it in one take, and hence all the ums and ers and the generally rambling nature of some of my videos.
Yeah. That's just incredible. I just like that workflow, and I have tried to do that, and a couple times I've been really successful. But just try to work out that process. You just really, I'm very much fly by the seat of my pants up to a point. I do plan out a kind of a chunk to kind of keep a form and structure on my shows, but to definitely hammer it down to that level where I can do it all in one take and just have everything planned out. That's really efficient, and I really like that. And you absolutely could not do that without the Stream Deck.
Yeah. I should say though as well, although the channel is Take One Tech, originally I was going to call it One Take Tech, because it's not necessarily always take one. I sometimes screw up the beginning. It's usually like to get into the flow of it. I'll sometimes screw up that little bit of an intro that you have to give, the little hook at the beginning of the video. And so sometimes it might be take 3 or 4 or 5 or something like that, but it's all just done in one take. But the thing for me though is, if I start and I screw up the beginning and I restart it, that is still a hell of a lot easier than saying, okay, I'll just continue and start over again, but continue, and then have to take that into an editor, then have to take the stuff out. It's too much friction for me, and and then also this whole thing of psychologically, if I know that I'm going to be editing it, then I'll constantly want to iron out all those little imperfections and major imperfections as well.
All right. I like some of these funny comments out here. Let's see. Richard Graham says, brilliant way to get engagement, mess up the audio, and have everyone tell you. So, yeah. Yes, as a bonus, stick around to the end and see if I'm still messing up the audio. So, and Chris and Mikey said, by the way, I enjoyed the echo.
Double the value.
You're getting 3 audios for the price of 1. You should be really happy.
Yeah.
So, hey, Sammy. Hey, Sammy Superstar. Yeah, like Roy. I don't know what it is. I had the same issue with Dr. Elo inviting me on his stream via Ecamm. So I did figure out what it is. I don't know how to solve it. I'll have to figure it out. It's a routing issue with audio. So Echo might need to pick a different audio device. Yeah, I thought about that. The other thing is I had to mute off the camera mic inside the Streamer X, because it was making me, it was in there. Alec, check your tabs. No, I'm pretty sure it's on my side. If Alex talks and I mute myself, the echo goes away for him. So I'm pretty sure it is my side. In the words of Dot Rock, it's not echo, it's double audio. Yes, that's true. The slapback is, nope, pretty sure it's me. So everybody had a lot to talk about. Same thing happened to Doc with the Streamer X. Yeah, I know. I thought he figured it out. So I'll get it after this. I do my videos in one take. Yep. Now, general reminder, don't forget to smash the like button. I do appreciate that. Thank you, Mommy. God, thanks for letting everybody. Oh, it's a bad scene. Yeah, unfortunately, I hit mute and then I changed scenes and it kept that in there. I don't usually mute myself, so that's never been an issue for me because I just don't know when to shut up. Smash the like button. Let's see. Awesome. Thanks, friends. Oh, here you go. Mommy Guy wants to know, how safe is it to use the free music and sound effects from the Stream Deck?
It's safe to use them, but actually I never use the ones that are built into it, just because when you download the audio from the store on the Stream Deck store, it does save it locally on your computer, but it's kind of like this proprietary audio format, so it doesn't download an MP or MP3 or something like that. And so it is just tied to the Stream Deck. You can, technically extract it or whatever, but it's just intended to be used that you're just going to trigger it via the buttons on the Stream Deck. The one thing that might catch some people out with that, specifically with Ecamm, is when you press the button on your Stream Deck, it's actually playing it on your system. And you might well hear it through system audio. But what you have to make sure that you're doing is in Ecamm, you have to make sure you turn on system audio capture to all of the time. Because generally in Ecamm, the default is that Ecamm's only going to be capturing system audio when you're sharing your screen. And so if you're just in a scene with just you and you press the button on Stream Deck and it plays some audio from Stream Deck Audio, you'll hear it, but your audience won't, and you won't really know. So you just have to make sure it is captured in Ecamm. But I just always prefer Epidemic anyway, because it's Epidemic sound, because it's something that can be used on every platform, and then I can just basically add it into Ecamm itself and then play it from Ecamm, because there's obviously a button on Stream Deck to play Ecamm audio, and then I always know that it is going into the mix, into the stream, as it were.
Yeah, I've gone on the quest a couple times. Where does the Stream Deck store the sound? And then, as you mentioned, it's in a different format, so I have to fix it, and then I will go, and it'll make me so crazy. I'm like, I really like that sound, and I will fix it and then drag it in Ecamm and do it that way, so that I can play it in Ecamm instead. But yeah, I have used those sounds. Now I have the Streamer X, so now I can go hit a button.
Troublemaker!
So anyway, so I'm ready now.
That works.
So now I can use the pads on there instead. So, and that's actually what I used the Loop Deck S for, is because I used it for sound, so I could have the Stream Deck like 100% focused on Ecamm and focused on, and then the fact that I could turn it up. So anyway, so I may have to look at a Stream Deck Plus. That may be in my future. So, let's talk about. Hey, tall boy, how you doing at Double Audio? Yes, I know. Yes, thanks. So, we'll get it. Wow, I'm glad I gave you guys something to talk about tonight. So there we go. It's a banner night there. Hey, David, how you doing? Yep. Oh, you'll get this figured out, Roy. Sure. Thanks for everyone being so patient. I hope you understand the tech issues. Yeah, Alec, what got you into live streaming? A question Tallboy is asking.
So the live streaming aspect, because obviously I mentioned about wanting to get into creating the videos as a way to practice this whole one take thing, but that was really for recording. The reason I'd started doing the live streams was almost to document the process. And so it used to be that, because I set myself the target of doing 100 videos in my first 100 days on YouTube. And then I hit that target, and then I stretched it to 365 in a year. And then actually I fell a bit short of that. I think I made 310 or something like that. But the weekly live streams that I did were kind of almost like an update on that process, and to help with the, the sort of community building aspect of the channel as well. But then it seems that in the past 12 months, really, the majority of content on my channel has actually been my weekly live stream. So it's kind of shifted, whereby the live stream used to be kind of just like a hangout without really a major sort of focus, or at least didn't feel like it to me. I was lots of starting off right from the beginning, checking in with the chats and just, chat back and forth almost. Whereas now I try to do like more like you're doing right now, where you've got a very clear topic that is the focus. So that's what I do on my weekly live streams now. But I suppose the first time I ever went live on any platform would have been on Facebook about 5 or 6 years ago. And I remember it just being actually a really daunting experience to go and press the live button for the very first time. It was kind of weird, even though it's not like I had like a major audience. It would have literally just been friends, but there was something about being on a camera and pressing live and thinking, what happens if it goes wrong? That, it was really daunting. Whereas now I've just got to realize that the people on the other end don't really, they understand, hopefully, that, these things can happen. And it's just funny to think back to that very first time of the trepidation of pressing the live button.
Yeah, definitely. Talbot wants to know, do either of you use Giphy? I mean,
I do.
Go ahead, please. Oh, you don't? I do, but I know that he's probably alluding to the fact that Facebook had to sell Giphy because it was kind of considered anti-competitive for them to own it. So that may be where he's coming from on that. See, Lala was talking about, it's really frustrating, Alec. Thanks. I will try to do what you suggest on the backup thing. Great advice. So, cool. Tallboy always asks, what is your favorite go-to button on the Stream Deck for both of you? Sound effects, scene, or something else?
For me, that has got to be the hotkey button, like that you can trigger a keyboard shortcut, because that one key, then you can just do anything in any application. And it is the one that is genuinely like the most used as well, because so many things don't have plugins. And as I say, I use it predominantly now, really, more so as just a general productivity device than for live streaming. So yeah, I guess it's just that hotkey button to be able to do then anything in any application. That's got to be my my most used one, at least.
Let's see. It's funny. Yeah, Mommy says, thanks for the reminder about backing up. So that's good.
Are you muted in this one? I think you're muted in this scene, right?
Thanks, sir. Yeah, I'm trying to overcome the echo. I am riding the mute, and I gotta, same way. Paul says streaming is all about learning new experiences, no matter how long you've been doing it. Yeah, I just try to get 1% better every time, if it ever happens one day. And Lala says, yay, a new masterclass. BGG Grooming Dagan says he makes custom buttons in Canva. That's a good thought. And then we're going to stick beside you, Roy. Trust all of us that happens. Well, thanks, Lala. She posted a link to your masterclass. We're also going to feature that here. So let's do that now. Let's feature, let's get everybody out there where they can see all the cool places you are. So first of all, definitely you got to go Take One Tech with Alec and follow him on YouTube. If you don't, I can't think of anybody here that doesn't already, but if you don't, you got to go fix that right now. So fix that. And then you'll notice on his page, there's a link right here to join our community that takes you to his site. And when you get to his site, you will see right here, the much anticipated Stream Deck Masterclass is now available. And go to courses. And if you go to masterclasses, and you will find, I just passed it, there you go, the Stream Deck Masterclass, which right now, with the code is 25% off until the end of June. I have a code in my description for this video, so please go click that link and go look at it and sign up for it, and you'll get 25% off the course until the end of June, which is a mere 10 days away. What happened to June already? It went so fast.
I know, where did it go?
I have no idea. So definitely appreciate all the work. I've started the masterclass, and it's just really cool. And so definitely I think you guys will be thrilled with it. It goes in such great detail, and it's just a lot of learning there. I gotta keep going on it though. So thank you for that. And definitely, like I said, there is a link in my stream. It is affiliate link, but you still get your 25% off. And so go and click on that link and go visit his page and go sign up for that masterclass, and you will learn so many things. I like the buttons you have in this graphic right here. There's Discord buttons, and I'm seeing all these cool buttons.
That is actually the Stream Deck's own image from the Stream Deck website. No, that's not my one, actually.
Oh, okay. All right.
If you look in the store and then go to icons, there's you'll see some of the icons that I've designed are in there.
Okay.
On mine. And by the way, I've got like 8 icon packs that are available to buy on my store, but you get all of those icon packs with the Stream Deck Masterclass as well. So that's kind of like one of the bonuses that you get. But yeah, if you scroll down on the store, you'll see that there's just a bit further down. Though all of those are icon packs for like Zoom, Teams, Zoom, Ecamm Live, YouTube Player, Keynote, and there's a few more just down below for a few other things as well. So those are kind of the icons that I've designed.
Awesome. Very cool. Wow, 3,000. That's a lot of icons.
So just to be make it clear on that as well, that's 3,000, but it's actually a series of I think 200, but in like multiple different colours. So but I do make that clear on that download page.
Whatever your color scheme is, you've got
that's it. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, and if you're cursed with having to use Zoom, here's an icon pack for that. So,
if you're cursed with having to use Zoom, I can highly recommend like using it with Stream Deck and Ecamm, because it does actually improve the whole experience of working with Zoom. The Stream Deck enhances this virtual meeting situation that everyone has found themselves in and now is sort of continuing. I think that the Stream Deck is something that really enhances that whole experience. So it doesn't become as frustrating as it could have been. Apart from, obviously, if you're in boring meetings, there's nothing we can do about that unless you're the host and can control how they are run.
I wish I could. Anyway, here are great places you can find. I just showed you this already, but definitely takeonetech.io, and then on definitely his YouTube channel at Take One Tech. So you definitely need to go to both of those places and find them. And definitely, is there any what's the thing everybody needs to know about the Stream Deck that we just somehow skipped talking about?
It's not so much something we skip, but I think it's worth reiterating that the thing about organization and the way that you personalize it is seriously not something to be overlooked, because I find so many people that I have like coaching calls with and things like that say, oh yeah, I've got the Stream Deck, but I haven't really used it, or it's been kind of plugged in, but it kind of sits there not doing anything. And the reason why that invariably is because it hasn't found its way into the workflow because of it's lacking the ease of use. But as I say, we are the architect of our own user interface when it comes to the Stream Deck. And so spending some time thinking about the way that you're going to organize it. And by the way, the most popular video on my YouTube channel is one all about using profiles. And although I've got multiple Stream Decks, I started with one, and having a home profile that you then link to all of your other different profiles. So you can always get back to your home. Think of it like your home screen on your phone or something. But then you press the button and it opens up another profile for a different use case that you've got. And so then you can easily get into a particular profile for whatever it is that you're doing. And then couple that with designing the icons, or at least finding some consistent looking icons. So it's a pleasure for you to use and look at. We'll just add to that and allow you to use it, more, to get more out of it, I guess, and use it in more aspects of your daily life.
Mr. Camera Junkie out there saying hi to everyone. And James Hicks got a great question. You've already alluded to this a little bit already, but he wants you to talk about leveraging multiple Stream Decks at the same time and how you split your tasks.
Mm-hmm. So I've got different profiles for different apps. Only to collect together all of the different, almost like a library, if you like, of all of the different apps that I might want to use Stream Deck for. But then what I do is I have a profile specifically for a different work mode, a different frame of mind. And that means that then, I've got my Zoom profile that can do everything in Zoom. But then when I'm on just a one-to-one coaching call, I don't need to worry about gallery view and switching pages in the gallery and things like that, or grabbing the invite link, which you can do with a button on Stream Deck and all that kind of stuff. I literally only need a few controls for Zoom. And the same with Ecamm. I use Ecamm for my live streams, and so I want to be able to control everything on my live stream. But when I'm on a coaching call, I just need to control a few scenes and a few different things like that. So I have then obviously a profile that is for my coaching calls. So it's just got only the things that I need on it. Same if I'm running a virtual presentation or a webinar or something, that then has some other things to do with Keynote and controlling that aspect. So being very sort of mindful of what the different work modes that you are potentially going to be in, and have a profile for that, so that even whilst you are in a particular work mode, you also don't find yourself constantly switching back and forth between profiles, going in and out of the Excel profile or the whichever ones you've created. So I think about frames of mind, basically, that I might be in at any time. And then the key one to this is the button, which is the action. If you look in your Stream Deck actions, there is one under navigation. Incidentally, one thing that I think caught a few people out is that there used to be a Stream Deck plugin with about 30 different actions in it that was for controlling the Stream Deck itself. But then in a recent update, or maybe a few months ago, they split those out into 3 different sections. So you now have a Stream Deck grouping, and then there's also one called navigation. But within that navigation, there is one there that's called switch profile, as well as being able to switch profile on device. So having like a home profile and being able to switch. There's also just an option in there that you can choose which device you want to switch the profile on, and choose the profile on that specific device. So that's how, if you've got multiple Stream Decks, to finally get into James's question, if you've got multiple Stream Decks, having one that has a series of different buttons for different profiles you may want on the second Stream Deck, and then you're pressing those and it's updating what's on the second Stream Deck, can be can be really useful. And also you can tie that into multi-actions as well. So I've got multi-actions for all my profile switches on my Stream Deck Plus, that when I press the button, it actually updates my pedals and my 2 Stream Deck XLs at the same time with that setup. So it really feels like I've just got a complete dashboard for whatever I'm doing, and pedals, just with the touch of one button, and it sets everything up for that particular work mode that I happen to be in.
Cool. Let's see. Florence, I'm trying to make sure I understand this question. Have you integrate Companion with the Stream Deck? So go ahead, please.
Companion is a third-party software, so that basically it can replace the Stream Deck app. I'm actually going to add another 2 Stream Decks specifically for Companion, because with Companion you can control things that not only can't you control with Stream Deck natively with their plugins, but also things that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do with the keyboard controls. So Companion, for example, can do things like update the displays on the buttons as well. And if you're using Zoom ISO, which is an application that allows you to have an instance of Zoom, but pull out all of the individual speakers and use them in, for example, Ecamm. So you could have an instance of Zoom ISO running, pull out the speakers and put them into a scene in Ecamm. So for virtual conferences, then you could have an instance of Zoom ISO running. You also have Zoom running for your participants that are the audience. So you've effectively got one for speakers, one for audience, and then you can pull out the people into Ecamm and present that into the main Zoom, for example. So with Companion, there is a sort of plugin for Companion that is built specifically for Zoom ISO, but it can do things like pull out the names of all the people. So you can actually identify on your Stream Deck button the name of the participant, and you can spotlight people in your Zoom calls, or highlight people, or whatever it happens to be. Request people raise their hand. If people do put their hand up, it can actually display who's got their hand up on the Stream Deck. So it can actually update the content physically on your Stream Deck. So as a way to control, other things that need that sort of deeper level control, Companion's really great for doing that. So that's where I'll next be adding further Stream Decks to my setup for those specific things.
Funny enough, we were talking about this right before the show. Huge Man Wit says, my Stream Deck seems to jump to a default program after a few seconds unless I have the Stream Deck software open. Is this normal?
I would just recommend just turning off default profile, because what that does is in Stream Deck, there is a way that you can assign a specific application to a profile, which some people like when they go into Photoshop. They got all their Photoshop things there automatically. If they go into another app, it brings up all the actions for that particular app, which is great. So the point about that default profile, though, is if you are doing that with different applications, then it's saying if you go into an application that doesn't have a profile assigned to it, then it's going to go back to that default profile. But I mentioned just a moment ago about how I prefer to have multiple profiles for each individual kind of work mode that I happen to be in. And so therefore, for me, there is no one default profile because I'm in and out of multiple applications. And I actually found that to be more of a frustration than it was worth. So I would recommend just going and deactivating that default profile, which you can do. Just go into the profiles setting of preferences and just make sure the one you'll see a little icon next to it, which is kind of like a box with 9 little squares. Just go and deactivate that, so there's no default profile, and it'll fix that. You can just change the profile manually, depending on with buttons, but depending on which what frame of work you happen to be in.
Yeah, good point. Let's see, make sure I'm not muted. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, and that's what I need to do is definitely disable the default, because I've had that happen right in the middle of a live stream. Suddenly it goes to another profile. I'm like, where'd my buttons go?
Yeah.
Made me quite crazy. David smashed that like button. Thank you, sir, spooling around. Thanks, David, for that. Yeah. Mr. Camera Junkie. Thanks, sir. Yes, I remembered the 100 days of live stream, Alec. Epic. Mute on, mute off. Hi, Roy. Hi, everyone. Hey, I'm in between meetings here. I actually knew that answer was a softball, which is great to hear you explain that for folks. Okay, that was the multiple stream decks.
I consider James a power user anyway. He knows all the tricks.
Now let's see, Mama Lila, when you switch profile in Ecamm, will it automatically do so in the Stream Deck?
It doesn't automatically. However, what I do is I set up multi-actions on the Stream Deck that I'm going to use to switch profile, and therefore it will set up everything else that's relevant to that. So I mentioned about having different frames of mind and work modes or whatever. So as well as the multi-action that changes the profile on my other Stream Decks, it will also then trigger other things like opening files, folders, or whatever it might happen to be. But specifically with relation to Ecamm, if you've just got different Ecamm profiles and different Stream Deck profiles related to them, then all you'd need to do there would be to just have a multi-action that contains one of them being the Stream Deck switch profile action to switch to your Stream Deck profile, and then the other being an Ecamm. There is actually a switch profile action in the Ecamm plugin that would then switch to the profile in Ecamm. So although it doesn't technically do it automatically natively, you can easily just do that with that multi-action and have two actions in it.
All right, let's see. Smile Roy, we're still here supporting the great content in the classic episode. I know, but I don't like when I'm having problems, man. My God, you can create a multifunction button that switches the Ecamm profile and the Stream Deck profile. Yes.
He's on the same page.
It says, how do you use the Stream Deck for your light? Oh, do you use the Stream Deck for your lights as well as your streams?
I kind of do, but it's a bit of a weird one, this, because I use Nanlite, is the brand of lighting that I use for all of my studio lighting, and they don't actually have a native plugin for the Stream Deck, but they do have a mobile app. And what I did is I ran the mobile app on the Mac, because since Ventura, whenever it was, you can run iOS apps on the desktop. So I have my Nanlink mobile app running on my desktop. And then I have Keyboard Maestro. I just simulate clicks to activate it and adjust things. So I do have a button on my Stream Deck to switch all the lights on and off, but it's a bit of a workaround, really. So like if I was using Elgato branded lights, they've obviously got really deep integration with it. So yeah, I'm just an on-off button, basically, is what I've got for my lighting.
Deal. It's always fun when everything wants to blow up on the same night. So, Tall Boy, we're going to need to discuss your Q's and colons. Profile by app is how I use it. Okay, I need to do more of that. I try to keep the Stream Deck focused on one application at a time. I'm leery of switching between apps, but I know that it can in the middle of things. I'm always leery of using audio clips that are outside of Ecamm, because I just figure, but it was mostly because of that default bouncing issue that was happening all the time. So,
Yep.
Wit says, thank you, nice solution. X1D, hello, how you doing there tonight? We have so many questions, I'm sure. Yeah, definitely don't forget to, let me see. Let me go and get a link to your class here and put it in so everybody can get to it. There we go. Copy in, so I'm going to put it in the chat for everybody to get to. And for some reason it's adding a lot of gobbledygook on the end. But there you go. There's a direct link to his master class. So definitely recommend you take a look at that if you really want to know all the ins and outs of Stream Deck. I'm really getting a lot out of it so far, and it's making me a lot braver on the Stream Deck than I am right now. So it'll be the Stream Deck that's going to cause me problems on the next stream. It won't be the mic. It'll be the Stream Deck, because I've just gotten so crazy. And then my guys, I agree, Corey, one of my first gears as a live streamer was a Stream Deck, but haven't fully utilized its amazing functions. Yeah, so definitely recommend using it for shortcuts for the many apps that you use, because it just does such a great job at just jumping around for you and stuff. So thank you so much, Alec, for being on the show tonight. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
And there, everything's going crazy. So yeah, and thank you for getting up. Well, I know you're a morning person, but in case you don't know, guys, he's up early. It's 9 a.m. your time now.
Yeah, that's right. This is I've been up since 3. I recorded, so I did the Creators podcast with our other fellow group of creators. So yeah, that's my morning times is like that on this particular day. So it's all good. But really appreciate the invite, and it's great to speak to you again.
Yeah, thank you very much. Definitely, everybody go out and hit those links. You definitely have to go and see Alec and go to his YouTube channel, and definitely recommend you take the Stream Deck Masterclass and that's a wrap. I'm supposed to tell you some call to action. So here's that big subscribe. If you like this kind of stuff, you're supposed to subscribe to it already. And here we go. Here's that outro. I always have to check my arrow. Yeah, Google's going to tell you to watch a video. YouTube's going to tell you to watch a video. And there'll be a big subscribe button in the middle. So hit that. And thanks so much for watching.